skies within the dreams at night, with our hands full of hope. Nothing too dangerous, 'cause we just cannot lose. Without love on this river we'll float. 'Cause I know a place where we can go. The sand beneath our feet, the water not too cold. We know nothing with nothing of our own. And I know a place where we can go. The simple things of sharing dreams that just keep growing. With our hearts, our home, we belong. And keep on moving, life's not waiting just to carry you along. And I know a place where we can go.
Hello, everyone. Hello. 안녕하세요. 건방와. Okay, welcome to breakout room. Before we start this session, I would like to introduce how to check Korean-Japanese translation. Okay. 한국 분들은 한국어 채팅 번역을 설정하시려면 그 밑에 부분에 선택 자막 CC 여기에 이 부분을 누르시면은 자막 표시가 나옵니다. 이 부분을 누르시면 한국어 자막이 나오게 됩니다. 日本語の方々は日本語の通訳はチャットに上げてます。今チャットを確認してください。この企業さんから日本語の通訳をしています。Okay, we are delighted that you are joining with us, Raising Peacemakers, Restoring our community, weaving service and kindness in everyday family life. My name is Yeon-shin Park, Director of Resource Development. I served with the Global Peace Woman, and I am honored to be your facilitator today. I look forward to an inspiring, energizing, and productive dialogue today. Okay, I want to break our ice. Actually, I wonder how many people attended today. Yes, how many people? Yes. So, what country are you from? I wonder. So because I want to practice how to raise the hand in this Zoom, right? So if you see this cute icon, you can push and you can raise your hand, right? So let's practice. Okay. If you are from Korea, please raise your hand. How about America? How about Philippines, Japan, or Africa? Okay, I welcome everyone. It seems like, to me, we feel like we are one global family. So if you have trouble in translation, right, you can raise your hand right now and please contact us in the chat box. And Kensu, he can help you. Okay, so I can see 5 people raising their hand, right? So Kensu, can you help them? Okay. Okay, now let's start. The flow of our session started with a short presentation from Sarah Adlan, and then I will ask prepared questions. Then we will start an open discussion. Please think of a question while listening. Ask a question to the presenters in the chat box during her presentation or our questions, and write your opinion, or you can raise your hand and you will think about the question together. Today, we want to talk in depth about raising peacemakers, restoring community, weaving service and kindness into everyday family life. How many times do we do doing good actions in a day? Are you living your life? Recognize your act of kindness, service, and word of kindness. So everyone, COVID-19 has upended our days, also our interconnectedness in our family and community. right? In some cases, conflicts in the family are getting worse, and the function as a community in the region is gradually being lost. As a mother of two children, I am very worried of our children's character, education, and also their future. Right? Today, we'll be discussing these things with the amazing leaders, presenter Sarah Adeland. She is a director of Big Hurt Families of Doing Good Together. So this organization is creating a culture of service and peace in America. Yes, I want to open the dialogue by inviting her to say a few words. Okay, just a moment. Please join me welcome our speaker, Sarah Adeland. Sarah, are you ready?
I am ready. I'm so glad to be here.
Okay, you can share. You can share your screen and you can start.
I'm working on the screen share. There it goes. There, we're ready to go. Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to be part of this community. This is just an incredible event and an incredible group of women leaders. I'm happy to introduce you to together. We are an organization in America that is dedicated to helping families and educators bring lessons of service and kindness to kids, because we believe that the best time to encourage peacemakers is while they're young, so they can develop lifelong habits of peacemaking that will make our world a better place for generations to come. We've seen this happen with families all over the country for more than 15 years that we've been doing this work. So I'm excited to hear some of this, or to share some of the strategies we use with you today. As our founder puts it, if we value a more just and compassionate world, we need to put a greater focus on raising kind children. This is such an essential thing, and I'm guessing everyone with us today is already committed to this work, because the sheer act of joining me in this room means you care about raising kind kids. Being part of the Global Peace Foundation means we care about raising peacemakers. But it's not always easy, and this past year has shown us how challenging the world can be, and how raising kind kids is not a given. I like to share this picture book. I feel like learning happens so well with picture books, even for grown-ups. So I would like to share Stone Soup with you by John Muth. I'm not going to read the story, don't worry. But there's a point in this story. It's a classic European fable about strangers coming to a town. They're hungry. The community doesn't want to share food with them, so they start making stone soup. And soon, curious people are adding to the soup to make it taste better. And at the end, the community has a soup because everybody shared. It's a great moral. Sharing makes us all richer. But Muth observes in the beginning of this story, when 3 monks are walking into town, he says, they could not see from so high above that the village had been through many hard times. Famine, floods, and war had made the villagers weary and untrusting of strangers. They had even become suspicious of their neighbors. The villagers worked hard, but only for themselves, and they had little to do with one another. And if anything has shared fear and suspicion with us this past year, the pandemic has done that. And so as we've all gone about our different ways of connecting our family with our community, even while we're keeping ourselves healthy, we've had to overcome that fear and suspicion. So that's what Doing Good Together is all about. And overcoming that fear and suspicion requires kindness and empathy and the willingness to step up and serve one another, which I'm just honored to see all of the ways Global Peace Women and Global Peace Foundation has helped people serve this last year. Service and kindness is, it sounds simple. It sounds like a sweet thing to do with your family, but the research is profound. Kindness and acts of service really effectively teach our values to our kids. As Yoshim said, we are all as parents concerned about raising kind kids and acting together, doing projects that show our values makes a big difference in teaching those values. Service and kindness make us healthier and happier. They raise our self-esteem, they lower stress hormones, they help children avoid risky behavior like drug addiction and improve academic scores. These are all measurable things many different research projects have found over the years that people have been studying acts of service and kindness. And to think that these simple activities could be such a powerful help as we try to raise kids and protect them from the dangers of the world so they can go on to be successful adults. It's a powerful activity. Service can break down stereotypes because it allows us to connect with people who are different from ourselves in a really meaningful way. And service helps meet urgent community needs. This is actually my daughter here raising money for a charity that she cared about. Kids like to know they are doing meaningful work, and even acts of charity, even when they're so young, money is a confusing topic. It still makes a big difference in how they work with their community, and it meets those needs. Service sparks important conversations as kids work with us alongside us to make a difference in their communities. They will notice things that may raise hard conversations at home, but those conversations open doors for you to be the one that teaches them about some of the world's challenges, which will help them make a difference later on. And service instills a lifelong habit of giving. Children who volunteer with their families are 40% more likely to volunteer as adults. So planting these seeds of kindness and service while they're young has many, many different impacts as they grow for both our kids and our families, as our families develop stronger bonds, and for our community. Doing Good Together does a lot of work to share acts of service and to help families share acts of service in their communities. We encourage everybody all over the world to start with the question, what are the needs and challenges in my community, and how can our family help? Because we're all in different communities. The challenges we face may look very different, but as one of the speakers earlier said, if you ask your children, if you ask your teachers, if you ask your community who is doing the work to support people in crisis, they'll be able to point you in the right direction, and there will be work to be done even as a family. I know many of you are already working to engage in your community, but how many of us go do our volunteering while our kids are at school or in extracurricular activities instead of bringing them along? So we want to think about bringing our children along with us so they get to be part of the service. Simple things, especially during the pandemic, we have to kind of rethink how we do service with kids. We may have to stay home more often to do the service, but sharing gratitude with community helpers and nurses and the people doing the work to keep us all safe and healthy during this pandemic is crucial. And kids love, well, not all kids. If your child, if the children in your community like doing art, giving them opportunities to create beautiful handmade cards and gifts like these adorable paper flowers to seniors and elders at a time when they are more isolated, and because we're keeping them safe, they are more isolated and lonely than ever. This can be a real gift for your community and can help your child feel like they can make a real difference for somebody. You may want to sponsor a hunger relief effort or host a book drive or a food drive or clothing drive for a local organization. At Doing Good Together, we help families share these service projects in a few different ways. We have a website where we share our ideas at doinggoodtogether.org, but we also occasionally will host family service fairs. This was more pre-pandemic, but we're hoping to get back to it soon. but they're really festivals of giving, opportunities for local nonprofits and organizations that are helping others to engage families directly with a simple service project and get them excited about making a difference. So those family service fairs are one way we get people involved with service. I also mentioned adding everyday habits to your regular life, making generosity and kindness part of your normal family routines is really important. I know we're all doing good in different ways through our days organically, but helping kids notice and amplify these good things will really help them think of themselves as kind kids and think of your family as a family that does good, so that as they grow up and as they become teenagers and are faced with challenging decisions, they've already got that identity as, oh, I am a kind person. I will try to do the right thing. That's a really powerful tool to give them. Always emphasize that we are all givers and receivers. We like to help families remember that there's not one kind of person that can help others. We all have something to give, and we all need help from time to time. Assigning chores is one of the most simple things. And sometimes parents can think, oh, my kid is busy at school, has a lot of activities, has other things. I don't want to burden them with extra chores, but chores have a profound impact on their ability to feel responsible, to feel empowered to participate in family life, which is an extension of community life later on. They will feel more likely to get involved in community work if they do work with you at home. So assign those chores, connect over family dinners, create a family mission statement. This may sound overly simple, but actually taking the time to sit down as a family and talk about what are we all about? What is our goal? We offer a simple project at Doing Good Together where we ask families to pick 3 action words. The one in the example on the slide is my family's, and we chose act with kindness, love generously, and dance often. So it doesn't have to all be serious, but it is a visual reminder in our home that we are a loving and caring family trying to do good in the world. Adopt big-hearted routines. These can be as simple as reminding your child to welcome new kids at school. And I know the pandemic has made some things like that difficult, but we started a letter writing project at home. So we wrote letters to friends while we were all disconnected during the pandemic. Letters to elderly neighbors. There are different routines you can start, and we have lots of suggestions at Doing Good Together. One way we help families do this is also we offer a newsletter once a month. So anybody that has email can sign up and get our monthly reminders on how to build these big-hearted routines into family life. And really emphasize emotions at home. Help your child recognize and name their own strong emotions, and recognize and understand the emotions of others. That's really the first step in building empathy. And then notice the kind behavior that happens every day, the person holding the door when your arms are full of groceries, but also the unkind behavior that may happen, bullying at school, spending time talking about how that impacted the other child and how you might step in if you see that kind of behavior again. All of these things are important. And then we talked about conversations. Ask every day, who have you helped today and who helped you? And you'll notice at first your child will say, I don't know, or they may get kind of frustrated because nobody helped me. But if you stick with the question and you say, who have you helped today and who helped you? And even the grownups respond, they'll begin to notice the everyday acts of helping and kindness that happen as part of your community. And they may go out of their way to do something kind just so they have an answer at the end of the day for you. Kind conversations include talking about your values, encouraging the 180s. Think of stepping 180 degrees to stand in someone else's shoes and understand the world from their perspective. It is not easy, but practicing extending empathy to others is really going to help break down this us versus them thinking that really is a barrier to peace in so many different ways. Celebrate small acts of kindness and the big ones. Answer questions honestly. I know it's hard to be a parent right now, isn't it? Kids can't help but hear the challenges that the world is facing. I know my own kids were talking about the Red Alert for Humanity the UN released this week, and it's causing fear and anxiety in our home. And they have lots of questions that I may not have all of the answers to, but I'm willing to step in and have the difficult conversation with them and talk about, let's see if the next one is, we'll learn together and really emphasize that problem solving. Elevate the people who are making a difference so that when your kids are worrying about something they're overhearing the grown-ups talk about, or something that they were told at school, really elevate those stories of problem solvers. Share some of the stories we heard today about the creative ways people are trying to build peace in our world. Share the way people are building strong, better solar farms and things to help the environment. That sort of elevating the problem solving ideas also will inspire them to be problem solvers. And then finally, read thoughtfully. As I mentioned before, picture books are a huge part of what we do at Doing Good Together. We connect readers with books that elevate issues that are challenging to talk about. Refugee situations, homelessness and poverty, helping them connect with the idea of elders and aging. All of these books, any book can be a book or a potential family book club moment. Just talk about how the characters are feeling and what challenges they faced. Explore big ideas and make every conversation, every book, a possible conversation to go deeper. Lots of parents ask me what to do if their kids don't want to read. Don't force it, but keep offering good books. I load up on library books as often as I can. We work with families to host book drives to get books into other kids' hands and communities that are struggling. Just really celebrate reading, and it will eventually take root in your child. And don't quit. Just because your child knows how to read doesn't mean they won't enjoy reading with you. Read as long as you can, because at about 12 or 13, they won't be available for that. They'll be doing their own thing more often. But while they're young, read as much as you can and have these big conversations. I wanted to leave you with the end of Muth's story. The most heartwarming part of Muth's Stone Soup story is the community spirit that comes alive at the end of the book when all of the community comes together. Other versions of this fable cast the stranger as a trickster, sneaking a free meal from the village. But Muth's story offers a different take. Because one little girl grew curious about the monks and volunteered her mother's large pot for their stone soup, a chain of events was set off, and people added food to the pot, one after another after another. Something magical began to happen among the villagers, Muth writes. As each person opened the heart to give, the next person gave more. And as this happened, the soup grew richer and smelled more delicious. The village came together as a community around that pot of stone soup, each pitching in what they could. And that evening, their banquet turned into a festival, a celebration of community. And when it was time for the monks to move on, they shared their gratitude. And the villagers said, "Thank you. With the gifts you have given, we will always have plenty. You have shown us that sharing makes us all richer." And I think that really speaks to the contagiousness of kindness and the way that our families can model giving and generosity in a way that will make our communities stronger and more peaceful and resilient. So that is what I have to share with you today. I know there are questions too, so I will stop sharing and we can start talking about the questions you all have.
Thank you, Sarah. Your stories and work and passions are really inspiring me. Please, let's give her a big applause. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I also like to ask you two questions. So if you listen to Sarah's presentation, you can answer. First, what is the name of the book introduced during this presentation? So please write your answer in our chat box. Okay, can you write? Okay, the book's name is Stone Soup, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Okay,
stone.
who is the author of Stone Soup? Yes, you can write your answer in our chat box. Yeah. Okay. The author's name is John Moose, right? So maybe have anyone already read it? Maybe it is first time to listen, search your books. Maybe I will try to read this story and have a conversation with our children. Maybe tomorrow. I hope you all read this book with your children and please start deep conversation with them. Okay, now we have prepared questions to open our breakout sessions as the dialogue progresses. If you have any new or further questions that arise, please submit them in the chat box to your right. So after the prepared these questions, I will open up the submitted questions. Okay, Sarah, so we are going to ask some questions. Are you ready? Okay.
Yes.
The first question, which I would like to direct Sarah, is what is your inspiration?
That's an easy one. My own children were my inspiration originally to get involved. In the beginning, it was to really encourage their natural instinct to help. It's easy to be cynical as adults, but if we teach our kids the habit of doing good, it will be their lifestyle, even as they grow up, to realize how challenging some of our problems really are. But now that my kids are older and I've done this work for more than 10 years, I find that my own children and the children we've worked with all over the country are really such an inspiration, because this work, it does inspire them to have a hunger for justice as they grow. These kids are teenagers now, a lot of the kids I've worked with, and they are starting organizations. They are starting fundraisers for organizations they care about. And they're demanding that their elected leaders take on issues that are important to them. And they're growing into very active community members. So that is just really inspiring to see.
Yes, maybe every parent has expectation for their children, right? How important it is for children to have a sense of values and vision and ownership. And it seems that this concern of all of us has been an inspiration to Sarah and have served until now. I really respect Sarah. Okay, thank you. Okay, this is the second question. The peace begins in the home is the foundation of a peaceful, happy, healthy family, but there cannot be sustainable peace in the society if it doesn't cut across family. How can peace, morals be maintained in society where there are different cultures, different religions? How do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with the good news. Kindness really is contagious. The small efforts your family does at home and the efforts we can inspire our friends and neighbors to take on really do make an impact. According to the research, even seeing somebody help a stranger on the street makes me more likely to be kind. So our efforts will have a ripple effect that's really measurable. But that said, all over the world, we're facing this us versus them thinking and the conflicts that come from that. And we all wonder, how do we teach our children good judgment without teaching them to judge others in a negative way? So at DGT, we suggest really practicing those 180-degree conversations. So what does it like if you find yourself or your child kind of othering somebody or judging somebody. We all do it. Take a moment and step into what their situation might be like and wonder together with your child, I wonder what it's like to be them. We may not be able to control how other families act, but we can set a tone for respect and kindness in our own home that will hopefully ripple out.
Okay, thank you for that thorough response. Maybe, yes, maybe small things is very beautiful. Even a little kindness or little conversation can have a big impact in your home and community. And it spread like a pandemic, right? Of course, we cannot solve everything in one time, right? But if we all work together here, a big wave of change will spread, I believe.
Absolutely.
Don't you think so? Okay, thank you, Sarah. Okay, the third question. How can parents filter knowledge and information their young ones access outside their home? Sarah, how do you think?
That is more difficult than ever, isn't it? And that is maybe one of the most common questions we get is, we all have this instinct, we want to keep our kids innocent as long as we can, but kids are facing challenging ideas and pressures younger and younger because of so much internet access and social media. It's a real challenge. But while they're younger, as long as you can keep the internet and the social media off limits or really minimal, parents really are the biggest influence. So that's when we do the hard work of really laying the foundation of creating kind kids, and helping them think of themselves as being a kind kid. The kind things they do are because, oh, you are so kind. But when they make a mistake and are maybe not so kind, because they all do that, they're not bad kids. We never say that. You just made a mistake. You're a kind kid that made a mistake. So always lift up that identity so that as they do approach those ages where they're going to be surrounded by all the problems of the world at once, they've already got that mentality. And then the other part of that is we can't keep them innocent forever. And when they have hard questions, our job as parents is to step in and be ready to answer them. To never answer more than they ask. Sometimes their questions are really simple and that's all they're ready to hear. But when they're asking about big ideas like hunger and hate and things they see in the world and hear about, it's important that they recognize their parents as people who will give honest answers.
Okay, thank you. Maybe these days, actually my children also chattering with their friends they met while watching YouTube or playing games, right? Sometimes I'm very worried about that, right? In that sense, I think it's very important to have a strong trusted relationship with my children, right? And have a conversation with them, right? So please, let's start to conversation with our children. Maybe that is the best way, I think, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. That's so true.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I would like all of us to take a moment to submit additional question on our topic into the chat box. We will take record and walk through the question to facilitate the open discussion. So maybe Christiana, you can send me a question if you are ready. But maybe before the open question and discussion, I would like to ask you guys simple questions as a warming up, right? So maybe we don't know each other. Maybe we are from many other countries, Korea and Japan, right? Sometimes some people cannot speak English. Maybe they might be shy, right? So can you turn on your video? So maybe we can see our face maybe, and we can see our face and become friends. Okay, can you turn on your video? Okay, okay, Kim Sun-jung. And okay.
It's lovely to see faces.
Okay, please. I would like to interact with you. Okay, Sonoka, Kijima-san. Maybe there are many Japanese, so they might be shy, but you don't need to do that. So maybe Tomomi-san, Yoko, Morris. So please, if you can turn on your video. Okay, don't be shy. Okay, maybe it seems like I'm only asking question to Sarah. So, but I want to learn a lot from everyone, right? So maybe I want to ask a question. Okay, first question is, what kind of act of kindness do your family do at home, school, and community, right? There are many kinds of kindness acts, such as surprising gift to your spouse, or message card of thanks, or give up your seat to elders, right? So every day you are doing some act of kindness. So please, you can write your own answers in our chat box. You can write in Korea or Japanese or English. So can you do that? Yes. Okay, let me
Can I say
check.
my teenager's very favorite act of kindness to share is one she's been doing since she was 4, and it's she'll bake cookies and bake a double batch and bring it to neighbors. So even during the pandemic, she'd wrap it all up and leave it, and knock on the door and wave and run away. But
Right.
very simple.
Yeah, very simple things. The kindness act is very simple things, but it can make a very big impact in your family and community, right?
Absolutely.
So, okay, maybe I can share my second son. Yes, he's elementary school, and maybe some from other country, from Chinese, some new student come to join in his lesson, but nobody want to become friend with him because he cannot speak Japanese, right? So maybe some cultural differences, right? So but my son start to have a chat, have a talk with him, right? And that good atmosphere spread in his classroom. Maybe the teacher, he recognized my second son's act of kindness. So maybe his teachers shared to us. So I was so happy to listening such cases, right? So maybe is there someone who can share some stories? Maybe Kim Sun-jung, Mrs. Kim Sun-jung, you can share? Can you? Or if you want to share your stories, don't be shy. You can raise your hand, right? Okay, or Morisaki Sakiko-san. So can you introduce your little kindness act? Can you are on mute. You can release your mute and you can share. Would you mind? If you cannot speak English, don't worry, I can translate. Maybe she's thinking now, right? Okay. Or is there anyone who can share? Maybe Sonoka-san? Sonoka-san, can you? Or okay, maybe we have some ice. So maybe we need some ice break from now on, right? So another question I want to ask to you is, what is kind words you use in your daily life, right? So you can use thank you in Japanese, ありがとうございます. 감사합니다. Or you can say, I love you, or you can do it in search of words you can use, right? How about you, Sarah? What kind of words you are using to your children or other neighborhoods?
I spend a lot of time saying, you're so helpful and you're such a kind kid when they do things that help me or help others. You know, catch them being kind. That's always fun. I also spend, it's not really a kind word, but I spend a lot of time saying everybody does it differently when they are noticing differences in families and are tempted to make those sort of not very nice judgments about other people. Like just trying to emphasize we aren't all going to do life the same way.
Yes. Yeah, maybe each family has their own way of like expression of their love, right? So maybe I want to collect all such warm words together, right? Okay. Maybe how many kindness acts and words are there in this world, right? Thousands, millions.
Infinite.
Yeah, that's right. I think the resources for educating our children are endless, infinite, right?
Yes.
So if you make some creative thinking, you can utilize that thinking into your own family. Okay, thank you. Okay, I will check. So how many questions we have? Okay. At this time, we would like to move into the open discussion, right? So we have questions that have come through. I would like to select a few of them to open up the dialogue. If you would like to add to the discussion, to ensure that we need time to complete our thoughts, and please raise your hand and I will call on you. Maybe don't be shy. We can talk together, but actually, maybe let me see what kind of questions we have. Okay, this is the first question we have. Yes. How can peer pressure influence be managed, especially when it cannot be ruled out, right? Usually it happens.
Yeah, it goes.
Yeah.
Peer pressure is tricky, and we can't get away from it. But I think it's helpful to realize that even when it looks like our older kids are distancing themselves from us, they still want that parental love and approval. We still have a great deal of influence on them. So that's one thing. And the other thing is to keep that communication open, really, especially, well, at every age, establishing that I, as a parent, will always tell them the right, accurate information as best as I understand it. I will always be honest, and I won't judge the questions that they ask, because sometimes kids ask questions that
Mhm.
might surprise or make you more fearful, right? For them,
Yeah.
they're asking questions that make you wonder what
Yeah.
they're up to. And you have to try to control, find that peace in yourself and have honest conversations about the things they're asking, because we can't stop the peer pressure, but we can help them work through it and stand up to it by giving them a secure place at home to talk through that stuff.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. Maybe I am also a person who made a lot of mistakes, right? Every day I regret my some talking or some conversation with my families, right?
Yeah.
But mistakes are not shameful. And I think it is really important to learn by having conversation with your family honestly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And recognizing that they're at, certain ages, they're developmentally supposed to make mistakes. We have to remind them those lessons we taught when they were young, that they are kind kids that made a mistake and it's okay. We love them no matter what. It comes back to that, give them as much love as you can and it will work out. All of it will work out.
Yes, that's great. Okay, so in chat box, I can find some cases from Korean Ji Chang-bom. He said, my eldest son have a good chance to have a grandfather who is drinking. Yes, it is raining a lot at that time, right? Maybe his eldest son have some grandfather, so in the rainy days, right?
Yeah.
So maybe in that time we need to celebrate, right, together as a family, right? Sarah, do you have such an experience to celebrate of your child's kindness? Right?
Absolutely. Especially when you think of supporting our elders and supporting grandparents. We just celebrated with my husband's family, and as much as we can in this time, their anniversary, and my kids wrote letters to them telling them how meaningful their guidance has been. And it really was an act of kindness that was kind of, I don't know, it was a moment where they got to reflect on how lucky they are to have their elders in their lives. And it was really it had an impact on both the kids as the givers of the letter. And then of course the grandparents were very touched by that too.
Yes, maybe, yeah. Mr. Ji Chang-bom, he said his son take the award from his school because in such an act, right? Wow.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe some other people, Shena Christiana, she said, helping our elders with chores, right? So maybe I am very bad in washing dishes and cleaning, right? So every family have a similar situation, right? So maybe if our children help me, I am so happy, right?
Yes.
So maybe you agree.
Those helpful chore doing activities both teach kids, especially even little kids can help with chores. And it teaches them that they have the power to make a difference, and it helps ease the burden on our elders and our neighbors that may be struggling with illness right now.
Yes, maybe, yeah, she said sharing food, encourage in community service, sending gifts to family, friends whenever they are celebrating, right? Wow.
Yes.
Maybe I realize now that even not only in Japan or America or other country have a common act of kindness, right? What a surprise. Okay,
We like to say at Doing Good Together, we like to emphasize helping your kids find what they're good at or what they like to do and turn that activity into an act of kindness. So a couple of boys that we worked with really loved basketball, and you know, they struggled for a little bit. They didn't want to do service. They wanted to play basketball, but their mom helped them flip that. So they volunteered at a shelter to play basketball with little kids while the parents were applying for jobs and trying to do training. So it kept the little ones busy, and the boys enjoyed being teachers and coaches of their basketball. And so they used their gifts to do something that's both fun and helpful for families that needed a leg up at that point. So I love stories like that where kids find their talents and use them to make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so maybe I will go into another question, right? So what are your motivation in these journeys? Please, can you share your experience so far? Maybe you already said a lot, but especially can you share some experience, special?
Yeah, well, so Doing Good Together, we do a lot of different projects, and one thing is getting families to be kind and at home and practice service at home. Another piece of it is family service fairs, where we host these festivals of giving that are really fun. And then another piece that I work on a lot is getting kindness activities into schools so that teachers or volunteers can lead big groups of kids in activities of service. And then they go home with kindness homework. So the kids lead the project at home. So the kids you know how kids love to lead and love to be in charge of something. So they get to do that. It's been really rewarding and fun, but I'm so motivated by stories I hear from the schools that are doing it. One principal told me that even though the kindness club they started there was just a few kids, I think it was about 60 kids in the school that worked on it together. But every time they did a project, they would tell the whole school, we have a book drive going, donate old books. And then the whole school would go home and find their old books and bring them in. That changed the culture of the school. Bullying went down. People focused better, kids helped each other in the classroom more. It created a culture of kindness in the school. And seeing the impact of this work is just hugely motivational. It's so exciting.
Yes, definitely. Wow, what a beautiful stories. Okay, that was quite a dialogue. So maybe in Japan and Korea, it's it passed 12 p.m. a.m. right? Midnight, right? So maybe many people might be very tired, right? So these are the types of the conversation that leave me inspired and energized. Thank you for your participating. Okay, so now I wonder what we talked about until now. So here's the summary of what we've talked about so far. Let's listen from Christiana. So where is the Christiana? Christiana, are you ready? A moment. I wonder, maybe she might have some internet problem. Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Here you are.
Yes. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Sarah Adland, for your presentation. It was really inspiring, very educative, and all that. My name is Ozochi Uchina Christiana, and as a rapporteur for this breakout session, I'll be welcoming everyone, and I'll be presenting on the Sorry about that. I made a mistake. Okay. This the second day, day 2 August 2021 JP convention with the theme Moral and Innovation Leadership in Peace Building of our challenging world. The program, the session began at 1 p.m. Coordinated Universal Time on the visual convention venue, where there were several distinguished presenters who presented on different topics. And one of the presenters is Sarah Andland. She's the director of Big Hearted Family Doing Good Together. She presented on the topic, raising peacemakers, restoring community, weaving service and kindness into everyday family life. And that's the topic I'll be rapporteuring on. She started with a quote that says, if we have value, a more just and compassionate world, we need to put together focus on raising caring, kind children. And the quote is by Jenny Friedman, Doing Good Together, the founder of Doing Good Together. She also stated some components. She also highlighted some components which can help us in achieving kindness, compassion, doing together. And one of those service, enjoy the session. And one of these services, components she listed for achieving value of kindness, compassion, hunger for justice in case. One is adopt daily habits of kindness in our day and in our very busy schedule. In our busy schedule, like giving the children a compliment in the morning and reminding them to share compliments with others throughout the day, and often asking them what how many people that they show kind acts and people that return the same kind acts to them. She also stated the second component, reflecting together, like engaging in a thoughtful conversation with your kids by asking them big questions with no answer, that this will make them create a world or exploit big ideas, experience, which they might not be familiar with. She also highlighted another component, which is the third one, great books, reading great books together. She said when children read, you read together with them, you tend to exploit big ideas, you tend to make them think more about the world surrounding them and all that. Number 4, she stated the family volunteering in reaching out to local organizations in your community to see how your family can get involved, creating impact in your child, which creates a big impact in your child's life of serving others. She also went ahead to list out why it's very important, or the very benefits of incorporating these components. which is the power of raising peacemakers in the society. There were about 6 of them. One is it teaches them key values. These key values is value act of kindness, compassion, habits of hunger for justice. Then it makes us live. It makes happy and healthier. It makes us be happy and healthy. When you extend acts of kindness, it makes you feel that you've reached to someone or you must have done something good.
Yeah.
She also said it breaks down the stereotypes. Like when you show kindness, it makes you to relate more with people with different backgrounds and know how to interact with them. Meet community needs, like rendering services, and this kind of inculcates the culture of kindness, art of doing and giving. She also speaks on it sparks in important conversation, develop lifelong habits, and all that. And in conclusion, she made us understand that a family kind of practice will help to shape the way your kids engage in the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, please give a big hand to her. Okay, finally, let's listen to the concluding remarks of Dr. Suno Gang. She is preparing all these sessions and actively doing the GP Women project in the world. Okay.
Amazing, right? Some of these issues are so complex, it is easy to get overwhelmed. However, each presenter, each facilitator, rapporteur, and discussant embodies the power of a service-minded woman, motivated by her love for her family and other families, our shared human family, to make the world a better place. I know many of you have poured years, if not decades, into public service for your communities and nations. You are an inspiration. I'd like to revisit the question that GP Women Chairwoman Dr. Chun Sung Moon posed to us all yesterday. How can we, as a women, as a readers, contribute to opening a path to a brighter future? Through the plenary yesterday and the workshop today, I think that we have realized the answer begins in our families and extends out into our communities and to the world. In our homes, we can cultivate profound reserves of gratitude, service, and unconditional love that can spread out and generate effective and sustainable solutions. If each of us continues to take action in our homes and in our communities, if each of us continues to invest in the connections we made here, I truly believe that we will spark transformation toward a more peaceful world. Right? Dr. Moon said, together with our collective strength of service, heart, and care, we will get through these times and we will create a brighter and greater future. I truly, firmly believe this. So instead of closing the story, let this be a new chapter of the exciting work that is to come. Let's invest in this community of service-minded readers to expand our impact together. Before you go, please fill out the post-session survey to let us know what you liked and how we can improve. We really appreciate your feedback. I wish you all well and thank you so much for your active participation. Goodbye until next time. Thank you.
Maybe I think maybe we were able to learn a lot today. In particularly, in order to spread a culture of service and peace, GP Women is conducting the Family Stories campaign and the Family Volunteers for Peace project that can contribute to the local community. So especially on December 5th, the Family Volunteers for Peace Festival will be held. I invite you to participate together, and let's watch the introduction video. Maybe I can share. Okay, thank you. Okay, finally. Okay, Sarah, I would like to listen your maybe closing remark. So maybe in a few sentences shortly. Would you?
Excuse me. I would just like to leave you all. I know it's very late where most of you are. So I'll leave you very briefly with if you take away nothing else, just know that your small efforts at home matter, and that the work of parenting is hard, but take some inspiration from the fact that all over the world, parents everywhere are as concerned as you are about raising kind kids, and just need a little nudge to build compassion and kindness into their own homes. So if you can spread that message and be ambassadors for this idea of raising peacemakers, the world will just be that much better. So thank you all for joining me. And if you're ever interested, doinggoodtogether.org is available for you. And if you want to reach out to me personally with any questions, I will try to use Google Translate and connect with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. So thank you for being with us for so long. Maybe now I would like to close our Zoom, right? When you close your Zoom, you will see the survey displayed in your internet browser. Please fill out the survey. Okay, this is it. I would like to close today's. Thank you so much. Okay, I hope see you guys again in the future soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.